What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the garden. Thank you for joining Horticulture Geek. I am Ray. It is Good Friday, and it is a good day to work in the garden. This you've already seen, like this. Well, I think I showed you this tray. Yeah, I showed you this tray the other day, so I got that already. This is a tray from Lowe's. So they had these on sale for $1, the Bacopas. I mean, how pretty. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Normally $4.98, down to $1 just to get rid of it. And they had the verbena, same thing, $4.98. Down to $1. So I got some of those. They had a marigold. I got the last thing of marigolds. People had beat me to those, but I got one. I got 3 geraniums, same story. Now these look a little rough because they've been weathering out a storm here at the house. But they were really good when I got them 2 days ago. But there were 3 geraniums. I got those. There's some white bacopas back there. Here is the stuff from Gilbert H. Wild, some of that. Here's some of the vegetables I started from seed. Here's some veggies I picked up. And there's some lilies that I got at Lowe's for 50 cents a piece. Again, they just needed more space and we're getting rid of stuff. So I've got all of this to plant, plus the rest of the Gilbert H. Wild order to plant. And, oop, that's Rocky. He's not ours. He belongs to a friend. We're puppy sitting, and y'all know Garcia. They also had some dianthus marked down. Again, nothing wrong with it. And here's another thing of verbena marked down. Nothing wrong. So I got those. And y'all, even with the pool uncovered, isn't the garden starting to look pretty? I love it. It's my favorite time of year. And you probably noticed this set here. I was going to tell you about this. So this is my plant tone. I like the Espoma brand organic plant tone. So I will put a scoop of this in the hole. I mean, not a big scoop. I mean, these are little plants, obviously. But, you know, 1/4 of a cup, something like that maybe, into every hole. Everything. And even if the things that go into planters, I'll put a big handful of this into my soil with my planters and mix it up. Because I want to give my plants a good start. I want to give those roots the nutrients they need so that plant will take off and grow. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. It is windy. A big storm did pass through the past 2 days. I know some of y'all know that. Lots of YouTubers have been talking about it. It is moving, the big storm's moving across the country. I think it hit Tennessee and some other states yesterday and is rolling that way. It was a little rough for a minute. We never got any severe weather, but I do have some like leaves and pollen that fell out of trees and some branches, and so I'll have to do all that kind of pickup. So today is just gonna be a work day in the garden. I will pull the camera out occasionally and show a few things, but I'm not gonna let the camera run all day just because it's windy, it's gonna be hard to hear, and quite honestly, like, I mean, if you've seen somebody plant a plant, dig a hole, shove a plant in the ground once, you've pretty much seen it. If that's something you're interested in seeing, put it in the comments below and maybe I'll do that next time. But for this time, I'm thinking I've showed you what I've got. I'm gonna get out here and start working, and I'll bring my camera out and do some updates along the way and just compose a really nice vlog at the end of all this stuff. So that's where we're at. So I'm gonna pause the camera here and get to work, and you'll see me in just a minute. Okay, I've got a few of the shade things planted, so I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you those real quick. Here we go. So right here, I planted the Betony, which is a 2019 perennial plant of the year. It's a semi-shade ground cover, so I put him here to kind of fill in this spot in front of the little mini pond. And back here, I put in the anemone. This will get a little taller, and again, it prefers shade to part sun, which this is going to give that what it wants here. The sun comes in from this direction, but this side is shady. So this is my shade garden area here. And then right over here, I put in the 3 giant hostas. So I've got humpback whale, Komodo dragon, and Empress Wu. So those 3, I mean, they'll get up to here. It'll be a complete huge mound of hosta. This is just some extra stuff that I threw in here to fill a hole a year or so ago. When the hostas start getting big, it's some daffodils and garden mum. I'll just pull that out, move them somewhere else. They don't really like it here anyway because it's too shady. So I've got that. So I have the 3 huge hostas. Under this is a trumpet vine. And under this right here, which I hate this tree, but it's there and it fills the space. And then I've got my hydrangeas here. 2, 3 hydrangeas there. And I'll have to fill in with some more shade stuff here and here. But it's a work in progress. But those are the shade plants that I had to plant today. So I got those in the ground. All right, moving on. All right, so I was able to get the pool uncovered today. So I worked on that. So you saw me plant the shade stuff. And I got the cover off the pool. And I got the starter chemicals put into the water. Got it all turned on, the pump working, all that stuff. I'm not going to show you much of that because I'm going to be perfectly honest. I do all my pool maintenance myself, and I kind of was lazy when I closed the pool in the fall, and I didn't put enough winter chemicals in it, and so it kind of got gross and algae. So it looks gross, but that's okay. It'll only take it a few days to clean up once all the chlorine gets the water going and stuff. It is a chlorine pool, so I'm working on that. And then I had to take the kids for lunch. We did that, and I got a crazy, insane headache. So I had to take a break for a little bit. And so that's put me behind on my schedule. But I'm out here now. It's later in the afternoon. I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to start working on a few more things. But here, I'll turn around and kind of show you. Yeah. Cover's off. The garden looks better without that weird cover, but the water is green. Not for long. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna continue on my planting project. Alrighty. I apologize for the wind, but I wanted to show you this pot here. This pot was completely filled with orange mint and a few other things, lemongrass and a few other things. I emptied it out. The orange mint had completely choked out everything else in the pot and was strangling itself. So I completely cleaned this pot out, washed the pot, and I filled it up with fresh soil and fertilizer. And I've got a butterfly weed in there and a flower in there. And I may pop a few other things in there for now, but this butterfly weed will get big. So there's that. Here is the orange mint. And if we had smell-o-vision, my goodness, if you've never sniffed an orange mint, it is divine. So I completely whacked, so this plant was in that big pot. So I completely whacked the root ball away, keeping where the green was coming up. I mean, I cut it off, and I put some fresh soil and fertilizer in this just cheap pot just to get this to rebound, and then this will find a new home later. And now we're working on this container. This container had this Dracena spike in it, and it had some other things in it as well last year. But again, this Dracena spike had rooted up the whole thing, and the annuals in this pot, obviously they were just annuals, so there was time for them to go. So I pulled the entire thing out. It came up as one lump. And I have pulled away all the bad soil, all the roots from the old annuals, and I'm left with this Dracena and a smaller root ball. And so now I am putting fresh soil in here, and I'll put our plant tone fertilizer in there, and I'm gonna repot this back in here, and I'm gonna put some fresh annuals in front of it. So let me get that done, and I'll show you that here in just a second. All right, so here's this container. So the Dracena spike is in the back, and that's gonna be my tall vertical element. Then I've got a marigold, which will fill up and get bulky here. I have dianthus, which will fill the rim, and they will kind of spill just a little bit. And then I've got the verbena, which will bulk up and spill over. So when you're doing a pot, here's a good rule of thumb, which a lot of people already know, but you want to do a thriller, a spiller, and a filler. So I've got it, thriller, filler, spiller. So these are little, but they'll grow on, and I'll show you some updates on that later on in the summer. And just to mention, this is a galvanized bucket. And I got this on the clearance rack at Joann's Fabrics, of all places, because they have a small gardening section in there. Sorry, a motorcycle just went down the street. I'm sure you heard that. And so I picked this galvanized bucket up on the clearance rack at Joann's Fabrics 3 years ago, I believe. And I think I paid $2 for it. And then I have sprayed it. When I first started using it, I sprayed it with a sealer to help protect the metal and to slow down the rust and deterioration. So when you plant a galvanized planter like this, it's never going to last forever, but I do spray mine and treat them with sealer to give me as much life as I can. And this one's held up now for 3 years, so we'll see how it does. All right, next project, I'm moving on. All right, here's my next project. I have these 2 urns. Let me move this out of the way. So you can see they're just small matching urns. I picked these up at a yard sale. I got both of them for, I think it was $6, so $3 for each one. They have a pretty good reservoir, not too huge, but they're perfect for some little stuff. So what I thought I was doing these is I'm going to put the ornamental onion that I got from Gilbert H. Wild as my centerpiece, so it'll grow up. And then I'm going to tuck in some red verbena, and I've got some blue bonnet that I'm going to be putting in there too, some seeds. So I'll have the purple globe tall flowers with the blue bonnet followed up by the red verbena. So it should form, theoretically, it should form a really pretty container. So let me get it planted up and we'll see what it looks like in a second. All right, so here they are potted up. So I've got the ornamental onion, 3 verbena, and I put 3 seeds in for the blue bonnets. Same thing here, onion, verbena, and seeds. So let me go place these over here where they go. Let's see how this goes. I'll bring y'all along on this journey. Ignore the dirty pool, I've already told you. Sorry. So you can see the garden. There's a pot I've still got to work on. There's my clematis. The white clematis is blooming there. All right. And here is the walkway into my little rock patio. And these planters just live right here. So, let me clean out a little spot. The lamb's ear has started to take over right here. All right, nestle that in. And there we go. There's my 2 little urns. on either side of my walkway. And the ornamental onion, I'm gonna see how it does in this pot, in these pots. It's an experiment, and if they start to get stressed out and be unhappy in a pot, I can just pop them right into the ground somewhere, because they are a perennial flowering onion. So they're not for eating, they're strictly a perennial onion for the flower garden. So I can put those right in the ground if I need to. All right, moving on to the next project. All right, so next project was this hanging pot. And you can see here. So if you remember, if you are a follower of my channel, I showed you this hanging pot a while back, and it had a Super Bells petunia in it that I had wintered over from last year, and I forgot about it one night here a couple of weeks ago, and the temperature dropped low and it stressed the plant out. And so I decided that, because the plant is still alive, but it was just really stressed out, and it was partly stressed out because of this small root reservoir in this little pot. Because this is more like a bonsai pot. So I have cleaned this pot out. I pulled that plant out. I cleaned this pot, and this is fresh soil. I put fresh soil in here. Okay, it's moist, but I put fresh soil in there. And I will tell you, since I've already mentioned some of this about some of the other planters on this video, this is a DIY do-it-yourself clearance rack hanging basket. This metal frame I found on a garden center clearance rack in Asheville, North Carolina, and it had a basket that was supposed to go here that had broken off, and so it was literally just this little hoopy frame on a chain. And so they literally put it on the clearance rack for $1. So I got this wrought iron hook hanging chain for $1. Well, right next to it on the same clearance rack was this bonsai pot, and they wanted $3 for it on their clearance rack. So I said absolutely, and I literally just construction adhesive the two things together. So now it is one unit, and I have this really cool, unique hanging basket. So I'm not gonna plant this up today. I will put something in it another day. I've got to go get something because I really like something in here that does a real big trail. So I'll go buy something for this. But for the Super Bells that came out of this pot, it is right over here. So this is the set of 3 pots that I've showed you before. I got these at the Ollie's discount store, and these are my metal pot fillers that I got at the Arkansas Garden Show. So I have put that Super Bells here along with a purple verbena. Got some fertilizer on it, so hopefully this plant will rebound. Now I've just got to plant these other 2 things, and we'll see how they go. But that's good for right now for today. And I figured since we walked right past this and you saw a glimpse of it, I'd talk about this. So these are my blueberries. So they are starting to bounce back and fill out and look really good. This is Swiss chard in a little pot. There's another Swiss chard and my other blueberry. And ignore how nasty this rug is. It is an outdoor rug. It's normally not this gross. But we just had a flood yesterday with all that rain, and so all this soil and debris washed up onto here, and so this has to be pressure washed out now. But there you go. So Swiss chard and blueberries. Little seating area. And these winter pansies are about done out of this little urn. So this will have to be switched out soon. This is a little metal urn. I picked this guy up at the Goodwill. Yep. Just at the Goodwill. I think it was $1.50, maybe $2, I can't remember. And I just got my drill, and if you can see that, I drilled a drain hole in the bottom, filled it with dirt, and it's the perfect size for that little table in between these 2 chairs. All right. All right, YouTube. Well, the wind has picked back up and it's getting late. So I think I'm gonna call it cuts on this video for this Good Friday. I got a lot of things done. I didn't get everything done that I wanted to. And a few of those plants that I showed you, like the foxtail ferns and the supertunias and stuff that I've had for a little bit, those are for a planting project on the front porch. But the winter pansies in the pots out there still look really good. So we're just leaving it be for right now. But I thank you for joining me along on this planting project and this random pool opening and just hanging out with me for a little bit today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned a little something. Maybe you saw me do something that inspires you. Whatever, maybe you have a question. Let me know. I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down there. It helps me out on YouTube. Share this video if you want to. Maybe you saw me do something and you're like, dang, I wish so-and-so knew how to do that. So share it, let them know, that's fine. If you hit that notification bell down there, every time I post something new, you'll get notified. And if for some reason you're not already subscribed to us here at Horticulture Geek, subscribe. I would love for you to join our journey. But I think I'm going to wrap it up here. So until next time, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening. And I wish you all a blessed Easter. Take it easy, YouTube.